The Mortal Kombat community is huge, and that's community with a K, by the way. This series has existed for over 30 years now and has fans both young and old, which leads to some hilarious hot takes, because you have the old fans versus the new fans, the NetherRealm era versus the Midway era. Hey, which reboot is your favorite? We got 3 flavors to choose from. Today's video is outside my comfort zone, so please leave a like down below, show your support, or just leave a like for Kentaro behind me. Shoutouts to Mortal Kombat Addict for giving me this amazing statue at a great discount. Honestly, I'm thinking about moving him to this side because you can barely even see him back there, even though he's huge, but not nearly as big as the Mortal Kombat fanbase. And when a fanbase gets this big, you're bound to hear some unpopular opinions. But are some of them actually valid? That's what today's video is all about. I'm gonna rank hot takes straight from my comments section, and fair warning, some of them are borderline rage bait. So post your Mortal Kombat hot takes in the comments down below, and without further ado, let's get started. Alright, here we go. First up, Evil Sindel was better. Literally no way. This has to be rage bait. There is no way you think that Evil Sindel is actually better than the original. Unless you're a Disney adult, I guess, and you like cartoonishly evil villains with no subtext whatsoever. Not even NetherRealm thinks that Evil Sindel was better, which is why they brought back good Sindel in the reboot. Although they did kill her though. So I'm thinking that maybe deep down they wish MK11 Sindel was successful and are a bit salty at fans for rejecting her. In fact, real quick fun side story, I was invited to play Sindel early back in the day, and after beating arcade mode I went, that retcon is gonna upset a lot of people. I think y'all made a big mistake here. And they all looked at me with the biggest stink eye you've ever seen. I think that's why NetherRealm never invited me back for MK11 stuff. But I was right, that's the thing, I was right. If you think Evil Sindel is better, I hard disagree. In fact, I disagree so much that I assume you're rage baiting. You have to be. Alright, take number 2. Raiden did nothing wrong. Honestly, I kind of agree. And Sonica XD did a fantastic job explaining this in a full video, I think. Not even joking, a full dedicated video to this topic, and I agree with pretty much all of his points. Past Raiden did his best with the little information he was given, and future Raiden didn't have much time to send his message back, which is the main criticism most people have, right? Why didn't Raiden say Shao Kahn must win instead of he must win? But he didn't have time. He literally did not have time. The second he said win, his skull got caved in. That's all the time Raiden had. Your boy did the best he could with what he had. Future Raiden didn't have enough time for a more distinct message, and past Raiden was trying his hardest to save the day for everybody. He really was. At no point was Raiden ever being self-serving. It was always a selfless act. He is a genuinely virtuous person. So yeah, this take is valid. I hard agree with this take, but some people still think Raiden's an idiot and did everything wrong. I disagree. Okay, this take is funny. Jade's bald head is not a big deal. Yes, it is. Stop being a pick-me. Stop saying, ooh, I'm different. I don't care that Jade looks nothing like the character from the games. Yes, you should, because changing a character drastically is never a good idea. Literally never. And like stated in my previous video, just imagine if Kratos from God of War had hair. Yeah, that would look really stupid. If God of War gets a movie adaptation and Kratos has hair, that's really dumb. That's stupid. Not because hair is stupid, but because Kratos is known for being bald. It's a big part of his look. And the same is true for Jade. She might not be known for her hair, but having long flowing hair has always been a staple of her character design. It's not just about wearing green, nor should it be. In fact, I think one of the biggest things holding Mortal Kombat characters back is the colors being a crutch. I should be able to know who's Jade, Kitana, and Mileena without seeing their color choices. No, like seriously, if I take Ryu or Ken and change their outfits, I still know which one's Ryu and which one's Ken. Mortal Kombat needs to get on that level. At least keep the hairstyles and faces consistent, for Pete's sake. But yeah, I digress. If you think Jade being bald was not the dumbest possible decision ever for that character design, then I disagree. I hard disagree with this hot take. But you know what? I don't just want to roast people in today's video, I want to get roasted too. So here's my personal hot take. Get ready. I think Mileena deserves the spotlight over Kitana. That's right, I said it. Tons of fans got mad that Mileena had the spotlight in MK1 over Kitana. No, no, that was much better, and here's why. Not only has Kitana been the focus in all games previously that she's featured in, so it's gotten kinda dull at this point, but also Kitana's personality is boring too. No offense, I love her gameplay, and she should be in every single game, no doubt, alright? But when it comes to storytelling, I feel like you can't do that much with Kitana because everyone knows what she's gonna do. She's a paragon just like Liu Kang. She's gonna do the good guy thing every time. But with Mileena, you have this wild card. It's just way more interesting, and we've never seen her have the spotlight outside of MK1. And honestly, even in that game, they didn't go far enough. I want to see Mileena play a really big role in the story. Even if that means pushing Kitana to the background, honestly, you could kill Kitana in the next game, and if it pushes Mileena's story forward, I will fully support that decision. So that's my hot take. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Alright, hot take number 5. The Kombat kids are cool. I kind of agree, honestly, with the exception of Jackie Briggs, and even for her, in MK11, the gameplay was fun. If NetherRealm had started by making Jackie distinctly different from Jax, not just in appearance, but also in her gameplay with the super jumping and stuff, then I think it would have worked, very similar to how Shiva is still a Shokan, but different enough from Goro that I want to play both. And I bring up Jackie because she's the least interesting of the Kombat kids. Kung Jin is a completely different character, so that's awesome. And Takeda is a combination of Scorpion and Kenshi, which is fantastic. And then you have Cassie Cage, who's most people's favorite because she's Johnny Cage's personality and abilities with the military training of Sonya Blade, so it's a great mix. I kind of agree that the Kombat kids are cool. Their wardrobe was terrible though, too much gray and way too similar looking. Oh boy. This next one is an actual hot take. Not only has this been in the comments, but it's also been on social media like Twitter and Reddit with a decent chunk of upvotes, so I can't wait to argue this one. Mortal Kombat was always about the violence and not sex appeal, so covering everyone up is good. Sonya is literally wearing a thong in the first Mortal Kombat game. What are we even arguing here? Sure, it's over the top of her yoga pants, but she's wearing a clear thong to accentuate her butt. What are we talking about? Mortal Kombat wasn't sexy. Then every game after that got increasingly more sexual until recently when suddenly it's taboo to have characters be sexy. What? Listen, it's okay if you personally don't like the sexy outfits. I do think alternate options should be there. Most definitely. And in fact, I think the less revealing outfits should be the default for tournaments and everything else, right? However, when you try to remove the sexy altogether, that's blatantly anti-consumer. Because not only do most Mortal Kombat fans want the sexy to stay, objectively, that's a fact, there's tons of polls that prove it and zero polls that prove the opposite. Okay, so it's a fact that a majority of Mortal Kombat fans want the sexiness, at least to some extent, which means excluding them is against the fans and I never support that. But also, this series conditioned us to like the sexy and to expect the sexy for like 15 years straight, if not 20. It's been consistent in every single game, including MK9. The idea that Mortal Kombat was not always about sexy is just a lie. I hard disagree. Okay, hot take number 7. Mortal Kombat 9 is the best game ever. No, it's just an incredibly good game for its time, and everybody has nostalgia for it. Myself included, but I go back to replay those games for video purposes, right? To capture footage, and dear God, the hitboxes and hurtboxes are terrible. I've lost count how many times I've punched clean through the opponent and the attack just misses for some reason. Then you have the abhorrent frame data, the player 1 advantage, all these glitches and bugs, random frame data too, all that ridiculous stuff. Every character is a bit broken to some extent, which is kind of fun at the casual level, but once you fight anybody who knows what they're doing, it's so frustrating and you want to throw your controller out the window, and I'm not exaggerating. Mortal Kombat 9 is the casual fans game, and most fans are casual, so that's completely fine. I'm just saying objectively, it's not the best Mortal Kombat game. It's best in some ways. Oh, here we go. Mortal Kombat 1 is the worst game. No, you've clearly never played MK3 or the Game Boy ports if you think that. I agree the game launched in a very unfinished state, which is never acceptable. From now on, if companies release a game unfinished, the price should be lower every single time, and there should be a law around that, in fact. Anyways, I digress. Mortal Kombat 1 was incomplete and had way too many microtransactions, but gameplay-wise, I actually prefer it. It feels like MK9, but the frame data makes sense, a lot of the overpowered stuff is gone, or at least a bit mitigated, and I actually enjoy the cameo system, because it's a new take on the variation system, and I never liked the variations because it limited which moves I could do with the character, whereas in Mortal Kombat 1, the character has every single move you could want. In fact, every MK MK1 character has a larger move list than previous Mortal Kombat games, and I love that. Now with that also said, I understand it's not for everybody, but it's my video, right? It's my response to these hot takes. I don't think MK1 is the worst game. However, I do know it's trendy to talk about that. Make a Mortal Kombat 1 hate video and it blows up. I should know, I did that recently. But even so, I disagree with this take. Not hard disagree, but I just disagree. Alright, time for the final hot take of today's video, and it comes from the Ford Snake, a big MK channel here on YouTube. Mortal Kombat vs. DCU has the best cinematic story mode in the series. All of the weird quirks like character chapters and having contrived fights to fill the quota are justified by narrative devices like power fluctuation and combat rage. These quirks remain all the way up until M1K, but the stories never justify them, leaving us with characters being great fighters for 4 consecutive battles and losing every encounter before and after that, and pointless filler fights all with no justification. Alright, so in some ways this is a hot take, because MK vs. DC is widely considered one of the worst Mortal Kombat games. However, I'm not sure the hate is justified because it's mostly a violence, gore, and fatality thing, which you could argue is the whole point of Mortal Kombat, but I disagree, because if it was, the games would just be fatality simulator. Like every character gets 30 fatalities and that's it. There's no longer a fighting game element, it's just the fatalities, it's just the gore. Kill every character in the most violent way possible, that's the whole game. If the violence really was the most important aspect, then the next Mortal Kombat game would just be all fatalities, and that's never been the case. The gameplay is always there, right? The story mode is always there. So when people say MK vs. DC is the worst Mortal Kombat game, I completely disagree. However, with all that said, does it have the best story? I don't think so, but I understand the point Snake is making here, because yes, the game's narrative does justify why characters win sometimes and lose other times. The DC and Mortal Kombat realms are merging, and it's causing power to fluctuate in crazy ways, which is why characters like Superman can lose to Scorpion. It's not just a magic thing, alright people? Superman can move faster than light. He would clock Scorpion out instantly. Like, no joke, the bro has no chance. Yes, Mortal Kombat characters are supersonic, and they are very durable too, but regardless, Superman can punch the moon and blow it to bits. There is nothing Scorpion can do to win this fight, but the narrative says the powers are fluctuating, so it's kind of justifying these fights. In that regard, I do think Snake has a fair point, and this game did pioneer the chapter system, so it was pivotal in how storytelling is done in NetherRealm games. So once again, with all that in mind, I understand where Snake is coming from. I will call this a fair point. I don't fully agree, but it is a fair point to make. And alright everyone, there you have it. Mortal Kombat hot takes ranging from valid to borderline rage bait. Let me know any hot takes you have in the comment section down below. What crazy opinion about Mortal Kombat do you want to share today? But then before you go, please subscribe and ring that bell. I'm trying to hit 500,000 subscribers before this year ends, and I think we can do it. Many of you watching are either new viewers or regular viewers that just aren't subscribed, so please take the 2 seconds, hit that red button, and ring the bell. It helps my channel out a ton, especially with the new YouTube algorithm. So thanks for watching everyone. Make sure to come back next time, and as always, stay underdogs.